There are some aspects to his technique that if he improved on, he could sound a lot cleaner. Hey everyone, my name's Mishan. I'm a singer-songwriter and vocal coach, and today I'm going to be checking out Nate Ruess from the band Fun and his best live vocals.
Be sure to check out my new singing course where I teach you to take your voice from this when a man loves a woman to this.
And I feel something so wrong.
Run, run, lost boy, they say to me.
So that's a little bit mouth heavy. First off, I'm gonna say Nate Ruess has a very high timbred voice. So he is a very lyric tenor. He's not one of the heavier voices. He's not a baritone by any stretch of the imagination. He's definitely a tenor, and a lighter tenor at that. Has more of a female sort of range than a male's range. But there are some aspects to his technique that if he improved on, he could sound a lot cleaner and sound a lot tighter. So there he's going very wide with that. His mouth was opening. Ah! He's like screaming it, as opposed to letting it rise up more into the head cavity, where you get more of a balance tone on that note. Ah! It balances out a little bit more. It's not as where it's like a straight scream. That would help if you would use a little bit more of the head resonance as opposed to going straight out of the mouth there. Nice. So his vocal was very in time, had very good rhythm there, and the short notes are good for his voice. My one critique of his approach is with his sustained notes. So when he sustains, he tends to go a little bit chest heavier, trying to thicken up his voice, probably because he knows that he has a lighter timbre to his voice. So trying to thicken it up just sometimes pushes it harder than it's necessary.
I bought it downtown as I was on my way to meet you.
See, like here it's very nice, light, and easy. There's not a lot of effort, but when he goes for those high notes, then there's a lot more effort involved.
She sounds like the songs you sing to put me to sleep, but now that you're gone, she's all that I've left to hold. Well, she tell me I'm all that she wants, and she could even talk. She just takes some glue to stay.
Okay, so there you notice how right at the end on stay, number one, his chin came forward. We don't want to jut the jaw forward like that because that actually tenses the jaw muscle. You want to try to let it open back and kind of swing backwards so that you don't have it's hard, the jaw gets locked there. The other thing is he started to open up wider, his jaw wider on the last note, but really you should have opened it up a little bit wider on the second last note also. And I think part of the problem was that his jaw was locked forward, and if he would have brought it back, then it would have been a lot easier for him to sing. So like right there, you can really hear the light timbre to his voice, where it's so easy for him to just sit up in the higher range, especially when it's fast, kind of percussive notes as opposed to long held out notes.
Give me a second, I need to get my story straight. My friends are in the bathroom getting higher than the Empire State. My lover, she's waiting for me just across the bar. My seat's been taken by some sunglasses, asking about a scar. And tonight,
okay, nice. So far.
we are young. brings it back. So let's raise a toast. Na, 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 na.
Okay, so in that song, I forget the name of the song, but it was one of their biggest hits. He really approached it with a very much lighter approach than he's going for, let's say, right now, and I, singing the I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. Okay, so let's listen to this, how he approaches this. Okay, so he's really squeezing on the U. He's really squeezing way too hard. He's trying to make his voice bigger than it needs to be. And that is forcing a lot of, there's some strain in there. Okay, that was a little bit of a rough run there. So yeah, so his basically where with his wide vowels, he's going almost too wide. And then when he's going narrow, his narrow vowels, he's going too narrow. So he's, and I will always love you. Like very narrow with the U. Very wide with the I. I would say try to find a balance between the two for all the vowels. And you're there. You could see at the end he was straining. You can hear it. It's very squeezed. It doesn't need to be that squeezed.
Some nights I wish that my lips could build a castle. Some nights I wish they just fall off. So let's set the world on fire, yeah. We can run right, yeah. Carry me home, carry me.
Yeah, so all those notes are really, really well placed. I think he's really focused on practicing the songs that he wrote or the band wrote, fun, and he's very good at not straining on those notes that he's singing in the songs that he wrote.
Turns out I saw them a couple of days ago. They were laughing and drinking and smoking and singing on. Just a Roman candle, you can wear your sandals and I'll pour you just one cup of tea. And you can go and rest, you haven't seen my best, so never guess what baby did when she got home. What they're trying to say, I don't know. I think they come on a couple, walking along cause the night is dead. Cross my mind when I cross the bridge. Just give me a reason, just.
All right, so that's really all of these parts where he's singing really fast, short, quick notes. His technique is very, very good. It's all very well supported. The one thing that I do notice though is he pushes maybe just a little bit more air than is necessary through those notes. It's kind of a tendency and a habit that he's developed. It's not completely necessary for him to be able to sing what he's singing. He doesn't have to push that air. He could hold it back a little bit more and that would clean up the tone just a little bit more. Yeah, so all his onsets are really breathy. And that's how he's not and we can learn to love again. It's and he's throwing that H behind each one of them. Listen to that again. You hear that? And so it gives this impression that he's out of breath, even though he may not be out of breath, although he might be because he's performing this live. But if he's not out of breath, it still gives the impression that he's out of breath. That's not really what you want to give to the audience when you're singing a song.
Now I know that I'm not all that you got. Like I said, I just thought Maybe we could find new ways to fall apart. But our friends are back, so let's raise the top.
Nice. So on those notes, he's not squeezing on it. He just really pops onto that note. He doesn't push it too hard.
Can't you see, I'm losing my mind, this time, this time. I think it's for real, I can see. I got enough on my mind, but when she pulls me by the hair, she hasn't much to hold on to. She keeping count on her hair, 1, 2, 3 days that I've been sleeping on my side. So darling, if you love me, would you let me know?
That was really good. That was really, really good. There was no strain on those high notes. Listen to that again. That was way higher than any of.
Would you let me know? I'm standing in Brooklyn just waiting for something to happen. I can't help but look thinking that everyone doesn't get it. You can take all the things, boxes and rings, and get gone. Stay on for the weekend. Take all those things, they define you and me. Everything we become, you're all that I need. Please don't make me face my generation alone. May your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground and carry on. But I'd like to think.
See, all right here is very, very nice technique. It's all really well supported. His vowels are not too wide. It's not overly bright. It's not overly strained. He's not overly darkening it. He's not trying to make it heavier than it is. He's just letting it be.
I can cheat it all to make up for the times I've been cheated on. Some nights I stay up, cashing in my power. Some nights I call it a draw.
So yeah, so right there, call it a draw. I just wish he would start, call it a draw, not a draw. He has a way of always throwing in that H. That's just his way of, his onset of the sound is always with a breathy onset.
Some nights I wish that my legs could build a castle. Some nights I wish they just fall off. Sorry, I don't understand where all of this is coming from. I thought that we were fine. Your head is running wild again. My dear, we still have everything, and it's all in your mind. Fix it right.
Nice. Right there, he's got it bang on. He needs to learn how to approach his sustained notes the way he does with his staccato, more abrupt, percussive notes. So that's where the note should be. He's just under the note the whole time. You just didn't quite get the notes there. So it's funny, in the recording that they just played of that song, he doesn't approach it with this airy onset. He approaches it with a very much a simultaneous onset where the air and the vocal cords start vibrating together as opposed to shooting air through the vocal cords first. So very interesting that he has that approach in that recording, whereas live he has that habit. Probably in the studio he had a vocal coach who was working with him, trying to get the best possible takes from him, and was teaching him, hey, you gotta change the way that you're approaching these notes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. And if you want to see more of these videos, hit the subscribe button. Next to it, hit the bell so you get notifications when new videos come out. With all that said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Be sure to check out my new singing program called Transform Your Voice, where I teach you how to go from this
When a man loves a woman
to this. When